I'm Wino, singer.
Henry, I play drums.
Dave, I'm the guitar player.
Well, I know it goes all the way back with you, right?
Yeah, I've been
all
in
the way to the
every
beginning?
rehearsal, every show, every fight.
I mean, when the band first started, what was the idea in mind? Just jamming, having a good time, or what?
Yeah, and we also wanted to play in a band that played music like we liked, because at that time in LA, the only thing that we liked was punk rock. Metal sucked. It was all hair bands. Yeah. And so, when we wanted to be musicians, Mark and I wanted to be musicians since high school. We wanted to play the type of music that we like to go see and type of records that we bought. So basically that's how it kind of evolved, yeah.
So scene was like Van Halen and all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we were doing shows, like rehearsing and stuff like that before Van Halen came out, and we were doing shows before Motley Crue and all.
And what area of town was this?
Well, like we started rehearsing in 1978, and we did our first show in 1979.
What area?
In LA, South Bay.
South Bay.
Yeah, we did our first. Actually, the first show that we did was at the same club where Fear is playing in the Decline of Western Civilization movie. That club, that's where we did our first show.
What was that called?
It was called the Smokestack at that time, I think. It went through like 3 or 4 different name changes.
Right?
I think at that time it was called the Smokestack.
Yeah. Well, obviously back then in the day, you run into Greg Ginn, SST Records. They show some interest in putting you guys out. How'd that all come about?
Well, we back in that day, we used to flyer other people's shows. That's how you would get people to come to your show. So, was it the Circle Jerks and this band Overkill were flyering our show for theirs, and the old band Overkill was a band that SST was trying to cross over with, because they were sort of metal and sort of punk at the same time, and they saw us and they said, would you guys do a show with us, because we want to do more metal shows and less punk shows to try and get across. And we're like, okay, since you're on SST, see if you can get any of Black Flag to come to the show, because I was a huge fan. I just wanted to meet him. And Henry, Greg.
What did they have at the time? Just the single, Jealous Again? Or
yeah, because Jealous Again was out. Because we were actually signed on SST before the Damaged lawsuit came about. So we got screwed on the release like everybody else on that. So that, Jealous Again would have been, and some of the singles like Six Pack and TV Party.
Right, so 80, 81.
Pre-Rollins, right?
Yeah. No, Rollins had just joined.
Yeah.
And Rollins and Chuck and Greg came out to the show. Yeah. And when we finished, they asked if we wanted to do a record, and we were like, yeah. And they wanted to do a single, but our songs were too long. So they were like, well, we'll just do an album. That was it.
Where was that recorded?
At Total Access Studios in Long Beach.
Wow.
Spot produced, Joe Carducci and Spot did it. 24 hours straight. It was probably like, they were supposed to come out in 82 and it came out till 84. So it would have been like 82 or 81. Probably 82 when we did
So you recorded in 82 but didn't come out till 84?
Yeah, because that's when the lawsuit hit. And all the releases got put on hold.
I was there when they had a press conference on Santa Monica Boulevard, and they were talking about how MCA Records had basically censored Black Flag.
Is that because of the Negative Land Trip or whatever?
Well,
that was going to be released by Unicorn.
Yeah.
Which was affiliate, I think.
It was an affiliate distributed by.
Yeah.
But I heard there was
a. It was a big. I don't know the details, but it was a big mess, and they put a whole.
There was a Jewish executive that took specific offense to some.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And SST could not put any releases out until the lawsuit was settled. So anything that was ready to come out got delayed, like us, Meat Puppets, Bad Brains, Black Flag.
What was the edgy release that caused it all?
It was called Damaged, wasn't it? Damaged.
No, Damaged.
Black Flag?
Yeah. Because there's a lot of shit like Police.
First thing with Henry on it, he's got the cover, smashed glass.
What was offensive about it? I don't really know.
The whole record's got a lot.
Well, there's some lyrics. Unfortunately, back then you had to turn in lyric sheets because they were distributed by MCA. It's very corporate. They look at the lyrics out of context and they're
you
like,
still got to do that.
There's no way.
We still got to do that these days with Silent. That's cool.
I mean. Today, a lot of the lyrics are indecipherable, but literally you had to turn in lyric sheets of those companies.
Wow.
Now talk about when you joined the band. What was your feeling? Why did you jump in?
I was a total fan, and I got turned on to the band. I guess, a while after that. You guys had already done pretty much I guess everything's up to Born Too Late, basically. So that would be
Yeah.
first record, Howl's Victim, Walking Dead, and that was it. So when I joined the band, we started rehearsing. Well, basically, here's what happened: is they were touring with this band called Brood, and they came. The singer got left. They were on their way to Baltimore, and the singer got actually left behind in Roanoke, Virginia. So they ended up missing the show. They stayed when they went back and picked him up. They had stayed at a friend of mine's house in Baltimore, and he played him some of my stuff. And I guess they thought I sounded like Ozzy. And so Riegers asked me if I would join the band. Now I don't know if he really okayed that with everybody or not, but he got me all excited. At the time, I was coming off of the Obsessed stuff, and we were doing like kind of we had kind of a death glam look going on. And yeah, David was opposed to my haircut, but I told him, look, it was only a phase. And yeah, I'm ready to get down with some doom, and I think I was pretty relentless, but man, I really wanted to join the band, and I pretty much packed my bags, moved to Beverly, and once we started rehearsing and we adjusted the tuning a little bit for my voice, it just seemed to all fall in place. And, I mean, by the time we recorded Born Too Late, I thought we were a pretty well-oiled machine, really. It was a lot of fun doing that record, and I mean, we were tight. We rehearsed like 6 days a week, something like that.
Now, where'd you record that one?
We recorded that in Redondo Beach, also at
Same place.
it's Total Access.
Same place. So Total Access has been your production
Yeah,
spot early
the
on.
engineer was Michael Lardy from Great White, the keyboard player.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, he was great. He was
There's
totally
no
cool.
Great White and Dokken. They were from that studio.
Yeah, those guys had some interaction with Dokken, I think, but
Mondo grew up with Don.
Yeah. But anyways, it was a good experience, and Carducci was the executive producer, Lardy was the engineer, and it was great, man. It came out good. I thought they did a really good job.
So I know you're really playing this album. What does that album mean to you?
I mean, I fucking love it. I love it. I mean, it's the first time I did it with the band, but I mean, I was a fan before I joined, and I really liked Riegers too. He had a really strange voice and cool. I guess he couldn't tour, I guess. I mean, I'm proud of him, man.
Yeah. He didn't like it at all.
Touring's not for everybody,
Right.
Gotta be sick.
So he couldn't keep up with the.
And we made zero money.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything went into getting back home and gas, and sometimes you couldn't eat dinner because you had to have gas to get to the next gig.
You gotta
It was not
understand,
in it.
like when I joined the band, I knew we were going to struggle because I knew that we were going to play the music we loved and we were going to sell out. Never.
Right.
And I knew I joined the band fixing the struggle. I mean, of course, you hope and you dream that's going to. I mean, what's amazing right now is here it is in this day and age, and a lot of people come up to me and say, "Man, I never thought I'd see you." And hey, we weren't sure that you'd see us either, but now I've got 120 pre-sales. We got a lot of new fans.
It's about the Beatles.
I'm blown away. I'm blown away. I mean, it's
That was
really
weird. Those little girls screaming.
It's really
that was weird.
yeah. It's when we took the stage that night in Santa Ana. The chicks were shrieking like loud, like it was really weird. It sounded like fucking Shea Stadium or something like that.
It sounded weird.
It's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on there. There's I think a lot of witchy chicks out there. A lot of pretty rowdy
the
crowd.
strong Latino contingency.
Yeah. But anyways,
Big
point is, I mean, it's fantastic to see it happening now, and I'm glad to be here.
I mean, so the music's held up. It's a moment in time for you, brings you back to when you made it, but it still stands up.
Yeah, and also I'm 53. He's older than me. So I saw Sabbath when I was 12. Like we're sort of at the age now that Sabbath was when we were kids. You know what I mean? In a way. And so there's a lot of time there. Sabbath is still doing it, man.
Man.
It's fantastic. You know what I mean?
Can you believe it? This music lives on. It seems like it's always comes back, or it's a niche that people don't want to.
We never changed. It's sort of like the tides kind of roll around you, and we just kind of always stayed the same. And eventually, I mean, there's a few things that happened. Like that. What was the label? The fucking with the black cat. That fucking Kozik. Yeah, Man's Ruin. I mean, to me, that sort of his vision sort of started the whole so-called stoner rock thing. But that was pretty crucial in bringing the hard rock revolution kind of back. The internet helps too, of course, but I thought it was pretty crucial, man. I mean, when he put out that label, started putting out bands like Acid King and all those heavy bands. I thought that sort of opened the door a little bit, or kind of started the ball rolling. I thought, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about joining the band and what really did it for you.
Well, I think Dave. I'd already played in the band with Dave and Ron Halsner. We toured a couple of U.S. and several European tours, and we were already like playing the stuff. You know, like we'd already played. We do a couple of VITUS songs or whatever. And when Armando got ill, he called me. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "You're the first person I thought of. I know you already know 3 of these songs. You got like 18 days to learn so many songs. We're playing in between Heaven and Hell and Motley Crue." So I was like, well, all right. And he trusted me enough because I learned his last set like in 3 days and drove up and, you know, we toured from there. So he's like, because I trust you to learn the songs, you know, and play them right. He's like, I know you can already play, you know, 3 or 4 of them already off the bat. So we get over there, and I think I practiced a lot, and then I ended up practicing with him maybe twice in New Orleans, him and Mark, and then twice in France. And here it comes showtime, and lo and behold, we do not have a singer. He is nowhere to be found. So I'm going, wow,
I missed my flight
in front of 80,000 people, and we're passing out lyrics to Mike Williams.
Here's what was happening. I called, and they knew that I was coming. But you know, our manager like decided not to like let the cat out of the bag and to like raise the excitement or whatever. Which is, you know, I don't know. It was hard, man. It was 4 hours to go. It was my fault. I totally fucked that one up. But I made it, and I had never done a rehearsal with Henry, and I was confident. I was totally confident. There was no doubt in my mind that it was going to be.
Yeah, we did those rehearsals in that music school without vocals.
School with like people dancing and like, I guess like what was like a ballet or some kind of
some kind of awards were going on downstairs.
But you know, Henry, Armando was great, and we mourned his passing, you know, and he was a great guy, but Henry brought a new kind of energy to the band. I mean, he definitely brought like more of a power, you know, and in a way,
it was a deal where we were just, the guys were, hey man, we're just going to do this and be done with it and put a fork in it or what it is, so to speak, or whatever. And then we played the show, and we were all kind of back there, just kind of, hey, we really fucking pulled it off and laughing. And the next thing we're like, there's people back there, y'all going to do another record? And it's like, we all kind of looked at each other. Do we want to do some more? Like, let's fucking do this. So we did a little of this, and then we did a little of that, and then as the ball kept rolling, well, we already done this reunion thing a couple of times. So then why don't we? You know, there was pressure a little bit from everybody. Kept asking David if, you know, do a record. And one time we were just doing sound check, and he started playing this riff, and one goes, "Hey, what is that?" And Chuck goes, I don't know, I guess it could be a new song. The next thing we know is like, he starts playing Blessed Night, and I went ting, and then fucking Mark came in, and then he sat there, and we started playing this new song that was going to be on this record that we had never. Yeah, and it did, and it just evolved from there. It's like, okay, we have one song, and people started hearing it. Like, well, let's put it out on a 45. Let's do this. First music in so many years or whatever. And then it evolved to where, hey man, this couple of labels started offering us money to do a record, and he sat home and brainchild with it and sent me a fucking cassette.
Me too.
Cassette, all right, man.
Cassette.
He's like, we're gonna do this rip like 5 times, and then you're gonna come in, and then Mark gonna do the bass. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, is this really how I'm gonna? My first record with VITUS is gonna be. He's giving me verbal instructions, and I can
calling the audibles at the line.
I can hear him doing shots, and he's slurring a little bit, and he's like, "Yeah, I know it's out of time a little bit." It's like, whatever, dude. So he came up. We jacked with it a couple of days and whatever, and sorted things out. We went up there, and my friend Tony Reed that we went to did in Seattle. We basically practiced in his garage, which is kind of built into a studio sub, you know, recording studio, whatever. So he would record us every day, and I still actually have the first tracks, so they sound nothing like what the outcome was. But we were like, pretty much everything just kind of fell into place. You started singing, and you know, we just needed to vary the speeds and count, you know, how many times and all this stuff, and it kind of evolved. And within like the 5th day, by the time I think we practiced like 3 or 4 days, and we'd listen to it every night and go, oh, this needs to be a little bit faster, this needs to be a little something. I think one song was giving us a little shit, because he was really trying to play it more of a rock speed, and I was like, you know what, fuck that. Let's think Sabbath and slow it down, and we slowed it down. It was like, oh wow, that was it. And then we got in the studio, and with the exception of one track, we freaking clocked everything the first take.
And check it out, we did it analog in a really cool studio in the woods, basic tracks. I mean, we mixed digital at his pad, but went out in the woods somewhere like, you know, outside of Tacoma, Washington, and we had a kick-ass day, like a beautiful day. when we were back at the pad, we were sitting around, we suddenly realized it was the anniversary of Ramonda's death that very day.
That's kind of weird. Like he
It was
right
very
shot
strange,
there.
man, but you know what? It was a good vibe. It was a good vibe.
Yeah.
That was a lot of coincidences like that happen with Vitus. There's a lot of like I don't know,
I
spiritual.
really felt like Tony knew how he was comfortable with this because his other band had done a couple of shows with us. He'd already, kind of made his way into what we were doing. And he was comfortable talking to David because David, likes to have his head full into it and kind of manage everything. But him and David had a pretty comfortable relationship and they were able to talk to each other. And Tony was instead of going, "Hey, dude," he's like, "Hey, why don't we try it like this?" And David was, "Okay, well, we can listen to it. If it sounds good, it sounds good." And Tony really had a pretty decent ear. I think there was really minimal stuff that we really had to go back and redo. And the thing that really freaked me out, I mean, people, trip out on Dave doing a lot of noises, but he made Dave do the thing I think 3 or 4 times just so he'd have some solos to prove, or to pick from. So he's sitting here and he goes, "You're never gonna believe this." I said, "What?" And Dave's like on his 3rd or 4th solo, he goes, "Watch this." He pulled one out, he go like this, he goes, "Dude, that fucker," he's like, "they're all the fucking same." All that noise shit, I mean, he's got it. It's a unique guitar style, but I thought Dave just whimmed it and shit.
I did.
When I
It was
first
like
got those
all
mixes,
the fucking same.
yeah. When I first got those mixes and listened to that guitar stuff at the end, Dependence, Withdrawal, on headphones for the first time, it was fucking heavy, dude. It's like creepy as hell. It's cool. It was really, it was moving, man. That's really cool.
We were actually at a practice and Dave's like, "Man, I don't want to get my wah-wah back out." Something was going on with the wah-wah battery or something. And he just said, "I'm going to just fuck with these things on the floor." And he just started going crazy. And I turned to look at Mark and Mark would just smile. He's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Dude, that sounds right." It's like, "David," I said, "You got to fucking record that in some way weird." So he's like, "Oh, you want noise? Oh, I can make noise, no problem." So he just fucking, but it's fucking totally creepy and totally,
Yeah, it's cool, really cool.
A lot of people don't understand, but man, it's kind of like, it's like the psychotic thing that's going on in Lily or the album, it's kind of
Part of the theme.
yeah, it's part of the theme, and people are, "Well, it's just a bunch of noise." Well, you're not looking into it enough. You're not understanding what's going on. You're just looking at, "Oh, this guy's just making a bunch of noise on guitar." No, it's this psychotic thing that's going on in Lily's head, and that. I thought it was genius myself because I knew, but I mean, and people are like, "Well, the record's too short. It's just as long as
That was the main
all the
complaint.
other
The
records."
record's too short, but it's really fucking not. I mean, compared to anything else, most
All
of
the other stuff we're doing is the same length, but the noise parts were made to, as part of the record, as part of the whole fucking
Yeah, it's like
trip.
tapestry.
And I don't think people thought that they're just trying to put filler, and it really wasn't like that. We were trying to have, what. He didn't plan for it to be a concept record, but it somewhat turned into it a little bit in certain parts,
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to take the time to grasp it and look into it, that's where it kind of turned out to be.
Yeah. Well, you guys have always done your own thing, and so many people coming up, they're just following. They're a cover band. They're flavor of the month. Oh, grunge is big. Oh, we're going to wear flannel and move to Seattle,
Yeah.
You guys have seen all those trends come and go. But you're basically just doing your own thing. What is the upside of that for you, to just be independent and just do what you do?
Well, yeah, I mean, we never, ever tried to play what was popular. Because usually the stuff we liked, when we were kids, the stuff that we liked that was really popular, like an Alice Cooper, Black Sabbath, the Blue Oyster Cult, bands like that, when St. Vitus was starting out, a lot of them had already changed styles and done this and that, and they weren't...
Changed radio or...
Right, and they weren't the same heaviness that they were at the time or whatever. Alice Cooper is a great example of it.
Right.
And so we just wanted to play stuff like, that we liked. So, that's what we just do. It's really...
I got a theory.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people feel the same way. Even though we play slow and new meat, we're kind of like a punk rock band. Because, we embrace our trips, wherever they might be. And, we definitely don't we're pretty, not really down with the man,
Yeah.
And, we don't like fucking impressionists. And we've always been individuals, but, man, sometimes I feel like we're a punk rock band playing slow, it's just the way things are. The way we feel, the attitudes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Anti-authority, underground music. It's just for the people, by the people.
I mean, it's it's a beautiful world, but it's also a pretty fucked up world, you know. And so, hey, we talk about that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're not afraid to talk about that. And I think that's it's edgy, but you know, hey, life's edgy.
Yeah.
Now, how does it feel, like I say, these years down the road, where bands come up to you and say, you know, you influence them, you hear...
It's totally rewarding. I mean, that is the best reward you can have. I mean, that's a better reward than money. When somebody comes up to you and says, you changed my life, or you saved my life, your music pulled me out of depression, or whatever it might be, or your music inspired me to do whatever. We hear that a lot, you know, especially from the kids now, and yeah, man, it's fucking heartwarming.
It's cool because, man, it's like, you know, and some people told us this a long time ago, so like, oh, well, fuck LA, we really shouldn't play it. It wasn't that great the last time, but, I mean, lo and behold, there's a whole genre of kids coming up into metal, buying patches, blue jackets. So, and it's very brought to our attention for sure at the last show is that, man, even my girlfriend Brittany's 26 and she's like, man, I feel old here. But there's a whole new scene of metalheads every freaking year. And they know all the songs. And it's kind of strange because, you know, we wore out the fuddy-duddies and the fat bald guys and the, you know, I mean, it's a quarter of what came the first time we did the first couple reunions. But now it's young kids, and then like when we play the new songs, they're like, fuck yeah, they know the new songs, and it's not just where the old buddy go, oh god, here comes Smoke Break, you know, it's a new song, I don't want to hear it or whatever, you know, where that's the way a lot of older true doom people are. But we have all these new kids and all this younger crowd that they like the new record, they like, and we saw it from the last tour too we did too. It was just like, man, you know, I didn't see so and so. Yeah, neither did I. It's weird, but here's all these kids that we've never seen before. It's kind of weird. Like people were coming up asking for autographs, and they'd be like, "Can you sign my thing that's shaking?" Like, really? Y'all calm down. It ain't like that.
You know, there's a couple things working in our favor. One of them is the internet. I mean, the internet wasn't around. We, you know, obviously, you know, we started
no
out.
cell phone, no computers.
And, you know, when somebody like, you know, when the dude, the singer from Baroness or whatever, wears the St. Vitus shirt, you know, in fucking Rolling Stone magazine or whatever,
billboard.
you know what I mean? The kid, you know, the kid that's a fan of Baroness or whatever, he sees that, he's like, well, fuck, I'm into this guy. Who's this band? It was just got like 2 keystrokes, you know. Whereas before, you know, you'd have to wait till dude's older brother got out of prison so you could listen to his records, you know what I mean?
Listen to this, fuck.
You know what I mean? But I mean, the information flow is much faster, but it's also, I think that this kind of music that we play fills a void for some people. I mean, some people are done with fucking, they like thrash.
Right.
Or they, you know, or hair metal, we still feel a void for some people. It's like a
it's
real
a flavor
visceral,
that fits in.
It's a real visceral, emotional kind of thing. I mean, I mean, I like to say it's slow, it's pretty angry, it's pretty bleak, and it's kind of primitive, man. But you know, it's emotional stuff. I think. I mean, that's how I feel. Like, you know, on a good night, you know, I could be in tears singing.
It's there's a lot of things like, you know, people don't take into consideration when these guys toured with Riggers in the beginning, man. I mean, it was real punk rock. It's not MTV punk rock. You're talking about a light with 2 light bulbs on the stage, and you know, spit and bottles and you know, people. I mean, it was for real punk rock.
Yeah, when I joined the band, man, we were going up to Vancouver to play with
like POA.
GBH.
GBH.
Oh, GBH.
It was GBH, and it was Chromags. And you know, David told me, he said, "Get ready, just keep moving," because we thought we were gonna get spit on, you know?
Right.
And but we didn't get spit on. It was like,
No, they liked us.
they liked us.
My mind.
That was interesting. Yeah, Chromags showed up. They knew nothing about posting at the bottom of the gear. They did nothing about the Canadian border. I mean, we were pretty well versed in the fact that, you know, you had to have your shit get in Canada, you know, post a card, all this shit, and they were like trying to bully Chandler into using his amp, man. I remember the guy like trying to intimidate him like a thug, you know. We were done playing, and I just walked up and got, you know, I did the best I could to have his back, and I think we didn't let him use it.
Yeah, we let him use that stuff. Yeah, we did.
So you guys basically, you fit into some metal shows, you fit into punk shows.
Here's the other thing, is that the other thing that was going on was Spandex,
we got stuck in a lot of
Hairspray, and these guys were the complete opposite. So they had to make their own niche without anything, you know what I mean? And it kind of, it paid off for them as an end result now, because they just stuck to what they knew and what they did. And I guess the first time they went to Europe, they felt it.
The Europeans got it.
Yeah, they got it.
If we played to like 500 people, like in Switzerland, almost near France, I think our first show, we were blown away.
The Germans really
But you know, my first experience, we got bands would drop off bills. We would always get added onto these agnostic front shows, dude. Like, man, my first experience in San Francisco, and in the heyday of the, you know, in the heyday of the Skinner thing.
Yeah.
You know, this kid was up front. I'm singing this kid just right in front, right in my face. Fuck you, you suck. Fuck. Man, that opens the door. You know, what are you gonna do? You gonna turn around and run, or are you just gonna get back in his face?
Right.
You know, Armando, the drummer at the time, he was a pretty big boy. He was like an ex-cop even. And you know, I knew that the fucking shit went down. I probably had some back, but you know, it's just some kid. The next time we played in San Francisco, the Mentors at this place called The Farm. This gang, I watched it happen. This gang tried, they were banished from the club because they were like this Nazi skinhead gang. They were breaking bottles on the wall outside, and swastikas always chanting. They rushed the fucking door.
Yeah, that was crazy.
They rushed the door. It was incredible. And there's these rent-a-cops. And I just remember this one big black lady. She seemed stunned at first, man. She pulled out her fucking stick and just started busting bald heads, and they repelled the assault. And I was standing right at the top of the stairs watching it all happen. I was blown away, man. I was like, those were the days.
That was wild.
Those were the days when shit like that went down there. You walk down the street with long hair, you get your ass kicked, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, those are the days.
A lot of different scenes, you know.
Yeah, but we were there, and it was really quite.
But it's like now everybody, it's made full circle to wear your jeans a little bit fucking dirty and grow your facial hair, wear a fucking bandana. It's made it for.
Everybody's talking about hipster. I still don't understand what a hipster is. I mean, what is a fucking hipster? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what hipster is because we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and we hope people will like it. You know, that's the goal. The goal.
Dave never thought he'd be a fashion icon, is what he said. Dave has gone to the Brutus Priest shirts now, and he's gone to his cartoon.
On any given night, what shirt he's wearing.
It's a coin toss.
I mean, not everybody has like Rock'em Sock'em Robot fucking t-shirts, you know, knock your block off. I mean, how old are you?
Or bacon and eggs.
55. So you used to say shit. Yeah. So you remember all that shit.
Remember all that shit.
Whammo, the original.
Oh yeah, man.
I left it at the
You know,
Lolas or something.
sometimes it was simpler when we only had 3 channels, you know.
Oh, I like it the way it is.
And we had
now.
radio. We had freeform radio where the DJs could actually play what they liked.
He watches Boomerang like 24/7, dude. It's great. It's great.
Cartoons and wrestling.
What were some of those early inspirations? Cartoon shows or bands early on for each of you?
Well, I saw Sabbath when I was 12 on Paranoid Tour. That pretty much changed my life. My first show was Sabbath, Paranoid Tour. My second show was Alice. Well, actually, no. My first show was the James Gang. Sorry about that. Joe Walsh had just left, and it was this record they did with Dominique Troiano. It was like a studio guy.
Right.
Called Straight Shooter. A great record. Ray Kenner singing. And then my second show was Sabbath. And then my third show was Alice Cooper on the Killer Tour, being warmed up by Mitch Ryder and Detroit Wheels featuring Steve Hunter on guitar.
Wow.
And then I saw Nazareth on the Raz and the Naz tour, warming up Lewis and Cold Secret Treaties. These guys were really into Raz. That was like Nazareth guys. Fucking
Oh
yeah, guys are both into that.
Nazareth.
Dan McCafferty, what a voice, man.
Yeah, what a voice. I mean, he was the first gravelly, like, you know.
Yeah, Axl Rose flipped out over here.
You know, I mean, everybody. I mean, I don't know if everybody tried to emulate him, but he was the original like AC/DC style singer. But but man, he was really good, really fucking good.
Yeah.
Razzmatazz blew me away. I didn't know that they had like 5 records before that or whatever.
Oh, sure. But when Hair of the Dog came out, that song just sealed the deal.
That song's great. I mean, I started to like not like him as much like in the later days. I mean, they did that more No Mean City where they had the mime that came from Alex Harvey Band playing Tear Gas, right?
Yeah.
2 guitars for 1 record. It's kind of interesting.
No Mean City's a weird record.
Yeah, the guy from Sensational Alex Harvey Band plays.
Yeah.
The other one is fuck. The red one with the guy with the sword. Not Exciter.
Which band was that?
Expect No Mercy. That's
Expect No Mercy.
Oh yeah, it's got that weird drum.
That has the
what's that dude's name?
that artist.
But there's one song that Dave's old roommate, when I first joined the band, he lived in the back house with this kind of eccentric cat, and he turned me on to this song called "Somebody to Roll." If you want to rock, you got to find somebody to roll. I mean, that to me, that's like that kind of that's an icon. So,
Anybody remember the original Captain Beyond album?
Oh hell yes!
I mean, this one right here.
Holy shit! Are you fucking serious? Come on, man, pull it all the way up. Let me get a full shot of that.
Put your hands on it.
Wow. Matter of fact, I was dealing with Rhino right up until he died.
Great guitar player, man.
Yeah, man.
He was in.
He called me out of the blue. He's like, "Yeah, I'm Rhino."
Right?
And he said, "I had this band called Captain Beyond." And it was like surreal.
Iron Butterfly.
He wasn't on. He was in
Bobby
Armageddon.
Caldwell's the only one that went to Armageddon, and he's not on the second
Who
album.
played guitar on Armageddon then?
I don't know.
That was
That guy's not on that record though.
Care to make small
I mean, talk about an album that you could
Can't
drop
make
the
small
needle and
waves.
play all the way through. I mean,
I
it's
like
a
all
concept album that
Yeah.
comes and go. Now, tell me about the impact of that made you put that on their back.
Holy hell, man! That record.
Man, that album's like that guy. For one thing, he plays clean, and I don't like clean guitar. I don't like super clean guitar. I like distortion. I like shit to sound heavy, like Leslie West or somewhat like that. But when a guy like him,
With a Strat,
Robin
really.
Trower, can fucking get a Strat and get a clean sound and make it sound heavy as fuck, that appeals to me big time, and that's part of the appeal of that. 'cause
See, those dudes do the tricks. How to
Yeah.
mod those
Yeah.
Marshalls and shit like that. Like Blackmore would mod those.
Black Boys.
Yeah, you know. But I mean, you're right though.
It's
But Bobby
harder to
Caldwell,
write
he was the
something-
drummer who wrote
Yeah.
all that shit, right?
Caldwell wrote a lot. I mean, that was a unit. I mean, I think
You had
Rod
Lee
Evans
Dorman
was,
on bass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rod Evans was actually
Yeah.
read stuff now and listen to what those guys say. They're like he was really the problem child of the band. You know,
Right.
he wasn't really. Everybody said, "Well, why didn't Rod Evans do the Rod?" It's like I guess Rod Evans had
fake
hopes of
exec.
being an actor, you know, an actor. So he moved out here, and obviously it never made full circle for him. So
Was he
after the
British or
second
not?
one- I think-
Rod Evans is British,
he's
yeah.
British. I think he lives in Florida now.
No, he's back in England. Actually, Rhino was in Florida, and he was trying to reach out to Rod. He's like, "Come on, man, that was 40 years ago."
What else did Rhino do in his later years?
I
thought
don't
was
know.
great, man.
He did a couple things. As a matter of fact, they got busted touring. A promoter billed them as Deep Purple with nobody else but
Really?
Rod. Yeah, they put together a band. Promoters like, yeah, we got Deep Purple.
Yeah.
Happened with Steppenwolf and so many of those bands.
But
back
what about
then.
Rhino? What did he do? I liked his style.
He
Did he
so-
play on the
had some
Armageddon?
solo.
Did he play in the
What is
Armageddon?
Armageddon?
No, he did Iron Butterfly.
Right. No,
Bobby
he didn't. That
Caldwell-
was Eric Brand.
No, Rhino was in Iron Butterfly.
Yeah, you're
so was
right.
Lee Dorman.
Yeah.
I think that,
That was prior to Captain Beyond.
I'm pretty sure that Rhino played on Armageddon.
That was supposed to be the. Well, here's what happened. Bobby went and did that album. They all fucking.
What's the name of the band
They all
that
left
did
and moved
Armageddon?
around.
The name band is Armageddon.
Oh, that's the name of the band.
That was Caldwell's side project he did
Yeah,
when
Bob
they put
Caldwell.
out Sufficiently Breathless. That's why
Right.
Caldwell's not on Sufficiently Breathless. They have the keyboard player from Stevie Ray Vaughan, and there's a Mexican guy playing
Okay,
drums
cool. What year was
doing
that?
the
8:30 or not?
other stuff with Rod Evans.
Right.
So that's the same. And then on the
Incredible
third
album.
record, Rod Evans was not on it, and everybody
Yeah.
came back, and it's Willie Davern, which was
Yeah.
a drummer for several other bands. I can't remember the names of the other bands, but I bought a bunch of records of him on it, and thought he was going to be the singer. He was actually the drummer.